So this one morning I was like really tired and I wasn't in that great of a mood. And I realized to myself, I was like, wait, why the fuck am I upset? And I realized that what I had just done the night before was something that I'd been aiming at for so long, and it had finally come, and I haven't even taken a second to smile and be happy for it. So at that moment, of course, I took a smile. I was like, holy shit, I've made good progress. And basically, for some backstory, for the last few months, I'd realized that I hadn't been putting myself out there. I hadn't been trying to make new friends. And I changed that. The night before, my friend and I, we went out and we met up with these two girls as well. And I ended up having a really good time. Like, I genuinely really enjoyed that experience. And it just blew my mind a little bit because a few months before, I was aiming at something like that, being able to go out and do that with my friends. I was aiming, like, I knew that it was possible and everything. I just didn't realize how quickly it would come. Because there has been other things that I've been doing. I've been having such a great time ever since I just started putting in the effort to genuinely put myself out there again. And it worked so fucking well. And by the end of this video, I want to teach you how you can be in like a completely new city, not have like that many connections, or be somewhere completely across the world. Because basically I had moved here. This is not where I had lived, not where any of my friends were. And so I had to rebuild all my social group. But I want to teach you how to do that, no matter where you are, no matter if you've been in the same place for a while or if you've just moved, how to build a really good social group from scratch. By the way, I'm going to be uploading tons of things that I don't upload on my YouTube, on my Instagram, so just click the link in the description, go follow that, Finna Man. So I reckon that the most possible toughest situation you can be in is if you don't know a single person. Because then you can't go out with your friend and go to places where you might meet people. Because a lot of people are really scared to go to certain places by themselves. And I'm not going to give the advice to go to places by yourself. Because, yeah, I think it's beneficial to go by yourself to places rather than not go. But I think it's really important, and you really miss the progress that you make when you go with another friend. A couple weeks ago, I was out in this like kind of club area, and there was just this one really fucking simpleton guy, just like kind of dancing, not really knowing how to dance. Everybody was kind of laughing at him. He was by himself. He didn't really make any good friends or anything. And that's why I don't recommend that you go out by yourself. Not because that happened because he was out by himself, but imagine if he was with a bunch of friends. Nobody would have even like looked another way. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out by yourself. I'm saying that you got to be aware of when you go out by yourself, you may not be able to make friends as easily as if you went out with a friend. I know personally that if I went out by myself, it would be 1,000 times harder than if I went out with a friend. But I do have a story that I hope can really break your mental image on making new friends when you don't know a single person. And this is a really interesting story. So about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, there was this guy and I was going for a haircut. I walk into the shop and there's this guy sitting there and I just sit down next to him. I'm like, yo, what's up? I just had a quick chat with him, maybe 5-10 minutes. And I actually really vibed with him. I thought he was an interesting person. And I'd never done this before. I was just like, yo, I'll follow you on Insta and we can set up a gym workout or something. And a few weeks later, we were in the gym. And I never really do that kind of thing. I never really would have asked in that kind of way. But I don't regret it because I met this guy who I genuinely thought that he was a really interesting guy. We had a lot to relate about with like international living and moving to Australia, and we got along pretty well. From knowing nobody, some random guy in some like hairdressing in the barber shop, I made a friend. And I'm telling you this story because you can too. You can do that anywhere. Humans are meant to be friends, and you might have like this limiting belief that you can't make friends with random people or people you just have like conversation with on the street. But that's wrong. And as long as, in my experience, throughout this whole time when I've been trying to make more friends, become more social, my brain has kept telling me, no, it's not. Set this goal, like I want to be more social. I want to have a good group of friends that I can go out with more often. And I set that as like the aim. Do you know how many times my brain has told me, no, give up, it's not gonna work, or just go back to your hometown where people actually like you, or people in Australia don't like you. And not even just me saying that, other people saying dickhead things, which are clearly weren't true, because if you've seen my life recently, I've been going out a lot more and hanging out with some better people, and it's genuinely worked really well for me. And so I'm just saying that the amount of times that thoughts came up saying this wasn't gonna work was over 100. And I'm saying that to you because your brain might say that to you as well. But you just need to be able to understand that that's a natural part of this process. This is a hard fucking thing to do. Put yourself out there and meet that many new people. And your brain is going to tell you, no, it's not possible throughout the whole time. You just need a plan. You need a place, and you need to keep trying to talk to people. You need to keep trying to speak to more people at that place, and then eventually invite them to ask them to come to hang out. It's pretty simple, but it's hard. A place I recommend, honestly, I went to this boxing gym a few weeks ago. I'm going again tonight. And as soon as I got there, like, everybody was super warm and welcoming. You get along because you like all box and stuff. That's a really good culture that I would want to be getting into as like a guy who wants to be more fit. I mean, you could really get in anything, like pottery. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you like to do, go to that kind of class, because then you'll meet people who are similar to you. Then boom, just ask them to hang out. Remember, go follow my Insta. Bro, you might be struggling to like talk to a lot of people. You might not be struggling with necessarily how to do this kind of thing, with how to talk to more people. You might just not really feel like that confident around other people. Or you might really find it like socially awkward to talk to new people. Nah, I'm gonna take that out. I was gonna give you my whole like method on how you can slowly get over social anxiety and it slowly becomes easier to talk to people, but honestly, nobody ever listens to this method. Nobody ever has the fucking discipline for it. So if you really want it, message me on Insta. I'll send you the plan on how you can easily become comfortable with talking to people. I reckon 1 month max, depending on how awkward you are. For me, there was this one time that this girl was throwing a party, and guess what? My one friend knew her. I said, yo, do you mind if I get an invite? He's like, yeah, sure. It's kind of like a turn up kind of thing. And on that night, he wasn't available. And I went to this party by myself. I know that I said I wouldn't go out by myself, but if an opportunity presents itself, then go. Maybe just don't go out to like a club or something by yourself. And I went, and I actually met a lot of people, got in a lot of conversations, and for the next few months, my social life changed forever. I had like a really fun group, not necessarily a reliable group or like people that really had my back, but definitely like an awesome, fun, massive friend group. We all went out, we had a lot of massive group meetups. I had a fucking blast of a time, and it was just because I went to this party, even if it was by myself. I just took advantage of this opportunity. And that links back to what I was saying about how your brain is going to keep telling you, no, it's not possible, even when it is. Even when the opportunity is there, your brain's going to tell you and go anyway. You might be finding it a bit difficult to talk to people. And if that's the case, this strategy that I came up with, I think this is one of the most helpful things. So I was at the gym this one time, and I was in a phase of being a bit socially awkward just because I hadn't been out talking to that many people at that time. We got into conversation, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm from London. And honestly, I had no fucking clue what to say. So I was like, oh, London, I was there a few months ago with my OS, went to my cousin's wedding, just started yapping about my own life. And I realized, that is not a bad thing to listen to. You really, if somebody starts talking about themselves, that's honestly way more interesting than that, oh, hey, how are you, bro? The same old, oh, how you doing, mate? The same old shit. You get sick of hearing that. And when somebody just comes and talks to you and they just say whatever is on their mind or however's tactic to have a good conversation. And it just turns out, just talk about whatever you want to talk about your experiences. And that's the way you meet the best people, in my opinion. Had a great conversation with this girl. There's been other times where I just went up to a girl and said, oh, hey, how are you? Oh, you near the gym? Don't be like that. Be like the guy who talks about himself and shares his story. Something that I realized this when I was at the beach with two of my good friends, and we were just kind of laughing around, and the thing that I noticed is there would be stretches of like 5 where all of us wouldn't say, and then we would all start talking again for like the next 10 minutes or something, and then we just wouldn't say a word again. And I realized when this conversation goes silent, that's not a reason to get worried or like panic. That's just a time like, oh, you chill out, you zone out a bit, you know, you think about what's going on, you look around. And I did not find that awkward at all, because that was genuinely, I remember that as one of my highlights of like maybe the one of the year. Surprisingly, I enjoyed that hangout so much more than most other things that had gone on that year. And I genuinely don't think that silence is a problem. I think that if I had suddenly panicked when that had been a good conversation, I would have freaked out and I would have fucked it up. I wouldn't have been as enjoyable to be around. You know, this one time I was eating lunch with these two friends of mine, and the amount of fucking jokes that we made, over like 1,000. Like literally every second we were making a joke. We were just dying of laughter. We were literally in stitches we were literally screaming of laughter. Everybody was kind of looking at us. And we were in this restaurant and everything, and we just could not hold it in. And I really loved that moment. That was a beautiful moment to me. But that only came because, guess what? That whole dinner, I had just been throwing out so many joke attempts. There were some jokes that just went like, oh, everybody kind of just looked at me like, what? But then I just like make a new joke, which was funny, and then they'd laugh at that. And I find that when you make like just unlimited joke attempts, eventually you're gonna make some really good jokes. Obviously, don't make jokes that are really like offensive and really weird. But honestly, if you were really weird and your jokes just came out weird all the time, still make them, because eventually you'll like narrow down your sense of humor. When people react bad to that, then you're like, oh, don't make that joke. And you kind of just like narrow down. And that's exactly what I did, because I used to make some really off-tune jokes. Every now and then I do, but nowhere near as much as before. Go follow my Insta. If you really want to be successful, just message 5 friends or something. Just message anybody in your town or city that you haven't caught up with in a while. Honestly, it's not that complicated. Just reach out to some people you used to get along with, and I'm 100% sure that one of them will come meet up with you. If not, they're just busy or something. Or they never liked you, but then would they even respond to the message that you sent? So probably not that. But anyways, go follow my Insta. Thank you very much for watching, bro. Hope you have an amazing day.